Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Gilda Evans, bringing you the Autism Resource Podcast. This podcast and the Autism Resource Project website are your one-stop knowledge and resource space for autism and much more. I'm happy to have Norman Wasserman join me as my guest today. Norman is the founder of Friend Entertainment USA and has been fundraising for nonprofits for over 35 years. He started Friend Entertainment to provide high-quality entertainment for nonprofit fundraising concerts. Norman says he understands the great need to make a difference in this world and is driven by the belief that we are here to help one another and have great fun along the way. Welcome, Norman, and thank you so much for taking the time to join me and discuss the work you do.
Thank you, Gilda. Pleasure being here.
So, to get started, tell me, how did you get into fundraising?
By mistake,
Okay.
I attended another fundraiser in a local charity. I live in Long Island, New York, and I, with a couple of friends, had gone to an oldies doo-wop concert with our wives on a Saturday night, and we had a really, really good time. And we did this fairly often. And on the way out, we were going to go to the diner and have a cup of coffee. And my friend Michael says to me, "Why don't we think about doing something like this?" I said, "What do you mean we?" He says, "No, you. Why don't you think about doing something like this?" I said, My hands are full. I had a different business that I was in for quite a while. I was a headhunter, a corporate recruiter, and I just didn't have the time to go and do it. But as it turned out, I wound up doing it. I became president of the charity. I had a whole board of 15, 16 people on the board. They all voted to do it, and that's how it all got started.
I love it. I love it. So tell me about the concerts that you put together. How does the process work?
Well, after you and your board decides that, yeah, this is something that we're really interested in, and let's have another conversation, because with your board or any board, there's usually 2 to 3 conversations so that everybody knows what their responsibilities are. And there's no, well, you didn't tell me this and you didn't tell me that. Everything is very much above board with me. And that's one of the reasons I've lasted for 35 years in doing this with a pretty good reputation for the work that I do. So we agreed to do this, and then you pick a talent. You pick talent. I don't pick the talent for you. I might ask you what your demographics are and make some suggestions to you. But out of the 50, 60 different acts that I do have, plus, we will find something that'll make you happy and make the people in your community happy as well. The whole idea of what Friend Entertainment is all about is creating awareness. We create awareness for the charity. We will bring people to you that would never know who you were because they're just interested in seeing the talent that's on stage. I mean, I just booked a show this week with Bruno Mars. Now, let me explain what that means. That means it's not the real Bruno Mars. It's a big time tribute act that tours the world. And those are the type of groups that I use, which makes doing the shows very affordable for the charities. And then after we picked the talent and we laid down the groundwork, we found out where you're going to have the venue. I get involved with staging, directing, and producing of the show. And the only responsibility a charity really has is the selling of tickets, of which I also help doing that as well. I know that you don't have any understanding about it, so I teach. So sometimes I teach myself out of the following year's show because the shows go over so well and you learn so well that you may decide that you might not need my services again. But I act as your consultant for 4 to 6 months. That's the time frame I kind of like to book concerts out, and then we just go about selling tickets and creating a name for ourselves. But with Friend Entertainment is very much about awareness. I want to get the charities known. I want them to make donations to you, not just make revenues off of concerts, but which is a great tool. but I want you to be, I want people to be aware of who you are, what it is that you and how you're helping the world. And I've done a lot of shows for autistic organizations. I have a thing about putting the kids on the stage or the young adults on the stage in the autism world, so the people can see what's going on with them.
So that was actually my next question. What draws you to helping the neurodivergent and disabled communities?
Well, it's not just autism and the divergent, it's all kinds of charities.
Mhm.
It's not just one charity or one discipline. I mean, I help social, fraternal, medical, institutional, all different types of charities.
Oh, I understand that, but my question was, what's the special place in your heart
The
that
kids,
that of the kids? Yeah,
the kids,
yeah, yeah.
very
Um,
much so.
I can certainly understand that. So, let's say a charity comes to you and they want your help. What sort of investment would they be looking at in terms of making this happen?
Well, let me give you let's say a sample.
Mhm.
Let's say it's your organization, and you come to me and say, Norman, we'd like to go and do this. What do we do next? How much money are we going to need? Well, first of all, I can't tell anybody exactly how much money they're going to need. It all depends on the act that you're going to put on the stage. They vary in price, say anywhere between $5,000 and $20,000. So if it's an expensive show, 20 being, let's call it the high-end type of show, we need a lot of seats. So let's say that we had 1,000 seats and we're selling tickets at $45 each. So God willing, we're going to gross $45,000 just on the concert. It has nothing to do with the other things that we do because of the concert, which enable us to go and do it. That just the concert itself. If we think that's maybe not enough money, we might raise the price $5 per ticket. So now we're looking at $50,000. You subtract the cost of your show, $20,000, you're left with $30,000 from something you've never done before.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I understand that a concert you did at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. was particularly memorable. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, this has been the show that we did at it was for the Pancreatic Cancer Research Center of Georgetown University. I was vetted for this show unbeknownst to myself for almost a year. It was actually 9 months, where these gentlemen that were originally from Brooklyn, New York, and moved to Washington, D.C., they were in the commercial real estate business, were big oldies doo-wop fans. And this show, we're going back about 15 or so years ago. And after every show, I go out to the crowd in the lobby and I shake hands, kiss babies, and do all those kind of things that one is supposed to do. I thank everyone for coming. And these gentlemen put me in a corner, nicely said, and said, "How would you like to come to Washington, D.C.?" I said, let me think for a second. Okay, I can do that. When did you have in mind? Well, we were thinking about having a conversation with you and putting something together. I said, what kind of show would you like to do? He goes, an oldie show. We'd like to have 5 or 6 different groups and come on down. So I said, all right, well, so why don't we have a conversation during the week? So we did. These 3 gentlemen had pancreatic cancer, and I used the word had. Their fourth member passed. He didn't make it. They were all from Brooklyn, from the same area in Brooklyn. They picked up with the disease somewhere in Brooklyn, and they wanted to do this fundraiser to help the family. They got in touch with Georgetown. Georgetown said, "Yeah, let's go and do this." So they made $500,000
Wow.
on this show. This was the let's see. This was the commercial real estate industry and out of Washington when the IT world was so hot and people were looking for space back about 15, 20 years or so ago. And these people were very pretty affluent, and so was their crowd. They were paying $500 a ticket.
My goodness.
The general public was paying $150 a ticket to sit in the balcony. Where they made their big money was from donations. The people that were coming were donating $5,000, $10,000. They donated the theater, they donated the before party, they did donated the after party. It was a real gala. This was like the top show that I've done financially and class wise. It was really quite an experience for myself. And at that time, I still had many, many years in the business, but I've never had the opportunity to do a show like this.
And well, I imagine a charity can only hope to have that kind of a success. I understand you're saying that was a one-time kind of thing, but still, even half of that, I think a charity would be happy.
It was one time, but it turned into personal events for some sub charities that people had. They saw what I was able to do. So they didn't make a $500,000, but a couple of them were making between 70 to 100,000, which is not terrible for the first time out for them to go and do something either. So when I mentioned before about roughly making, 45 to $50,000, that's a conservative number.
Hmm.
I'm not, I don't go around broadcasting, well, you can make 100, $200,000 and then we only make 50 and then you're quite disappointed. I rather tell you what the possibilities probably would be and the results that could take place.
Hmm. And you also mentioned that there are things that can be structured around the concert as well, other kind of when you auxiliary kind of things that
Mhm.
also can, raise additional funds.
Well, the key thing, if you have the manpower to go and do it, is a playbill. A
Mm.
playbill is a huge amount of money that can be to be. I mean, if easily, depending on what you're going to charge per page, a playbill can certainly bring you, 20 to $30,000. If you have the manpower to go and put the boots to the ground and send a couple of people out. Your board of directors, no matter how many people that you have on them, know people. And
Mm.
when you know people, you can get things done and they can spread the word around. Also, car leases. We've put together packages where you go to the local dealer and we arrange a car lease. You wind up charging $150, $200 for a raffle ticket. We raffle off this car for a 2-year or 3-year lease. And you have to be present in order to win. So it's a double win, double success story that you have. So we've done all of these kind of things. Silent auctions. We've done shows for uh, animal shelters that actually had animal giveaways. Adopting dogs and cats right there, right in the middle of the vestibule of the facility. So we've done all different types of things, and we're always open to suggestions. And I'll give you my honest opinion if I think they would work or not. Well, I certainly don't want anybody wasting their time, and I want you to again bring in that awareness and bring in the revenues.
Absolutely. That's the name of the game. And you certainly sound like you've had a lot of experience doing that and very creative as well, I must say.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, absolutely. So tell me, what do you think is the most important takeaway for our listeners who might have a nonprofit or want to help their favorite nonprofit raise some funds?
Think about what I do for a living and how what I do can help the charity. Because it's probably something that most charities have not done something like this. That's why I'm still doing this for 35 years. I mean, we do about 20 shows a year.
Wow, that's
That,
quite a number.
I just, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to Dallas, Texas now on August 10th, a little bit sooner than I wanted to, but the charity insists that they can do it, that they have the manpower and they have the reach to go get people to come to the show and do certain things. And it didn't start off that way. We started off talking about a show to be done in October or November, which is still out there to be discussed. But something pertinent happened and they needed to raise some money. They said, call Norman. So they called me and we put the show together and we signed the contract over the internet next week. And our Bruno Mars show will come down and entertain.
Well, sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
I hope so. Usually is.
Well, thank you so much, Norman, for your time and for sharing your story with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having us on.
If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast. You can find it on Apple iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, and other popular platforms. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you would like more information on this topic or anything else we've covered on the Autism Resource Podcast, visit us online at www.autismresourceproject.org/podcast. If you have a topic you'd like us to cover in the future, contact us through the website or comment on any of our social media channels. And be sure to check out our growing website often, since we are continually adding useful information and resources. I want to thank our listeners for spending part of their day with us. This is the Autism Resource Podcast, and I'm Gilda Evans, reminding you to take care of yourself and that special person in your life.